Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, let's just dive in and let's start off with a few things. So one, there is multiple ways that XRP could be priced at slightly higher values or even astronomically higher values. One of the biggest things I do say is that there's so many different things that could happen that pushes the value of a lot of these currencies. In terms of XRP, I think a lot of the value just really kind of comes from utility. But in this video, I really just want to talk about if nothing has changed around the space at all, and we get to a certain market cap, which we will be addressing in this video as well, is what will the value of XRP actually be? Now, full transparency, listen. Nobody knows when things will happen. Nobody knows if things will happen. We could just kind of go off of a few things and really kind of talk about it. Again, in terms of this video, I'm not saying that XRP is going to X amount of dollars. I'm just saying this is what could potentially happen. Now, with that in mind, as we really kind of look at what is going on right now around the world, we know that tokenization has become the spotlighted attention term that almost every single major name around the world of finance and the global financial system itself have been really kind of talking about. The World Economic Forum, going back to the January of this year, said basically a tokenized economy is happening, right? Everything around you will be tokenized. We're going to start to see this moving pretty quickly as well once we start to see major adoption from specific areas. And this is where they also talk about how carbon credits, housing, electricity, government bonds, foreign exchange, and other real world assets will be traded on the blockchain according to the panel's participants. Now, again, a lot of the participants on this panel were very, very high up on the food chain. And when we really kind of look at things happening around the space, things are heating up. Whether or not you want to, focus on that or not, and you want to talk about price action and this and that, that's totally fine. Beyond that, I'm actually looking at the macro on crypto. And if we are going to start to see things being tokenized in the way that a lot of these elites are talking about, well, things get very interesting very fast. For an example, I've already talked to you guys about how the World Economic Forum back in 2021 projected that blockchain could disrupt $867 trillion in traditional markets, which is absolutely insane to think about. But again, when we really kind of look at the world of tokenization, we know a lot of these markets have grown astronomically since this article. For an example, equity markets, they're talking about 95 trillion. We know that the global equity market is well over $100 trillion now. Then they're not even mentioning, real estate. The global real estate market itself is a $300 trillion plus global asset class. Beyond that, they are talking about derivatives. They're talking about a few other areas as well, but they don't even talk about how much money could be moving over blockchain in the coming years. We also know a lot of these organizations like the DTCC, for example, are settling $2.4 quadrillion in securities transactions per year, and they're already tapping into DLT. So when you really kind of take all of this into accountability, you're like, well, what will be the value behind crypto, right? Because when we look at the current market today, the value of crypto is roughly $1 trillion. This is absolutely nothing. We know that we went to $3 trillion on the all-time high back in 2021. And beyond that, I question, where are we going to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? I mean, the world really is changing so fast. We know AI and DLT and blockchain and automation is the big thing right now, and things are moving very quickly around technological advancements. So I would argue that over the next couple of years, things could be accelerated a lot faster than what we perceive is possible. And beyond that, right, we already know every single financial leader, including even Larry Fink, this year has come out and said, listen, tokenization is where everything is at. This is the next generation for markets. Even HSBC back in February of this year said that 5 to 10% of assets will be tokenized by 2030. And we also even know the report around how tokenization could essentially be worth $16 trillion by 2030 in terms of illiquid assets tokenized, which is definitely interesting. Now, why am I bringing all this up? Why am I talking about this market in this way? Well, it's very simple, right? As we look at today's market, we know that dominance goes a long way. Bitcoin for the longest time has held the most amount of dominance around this space until we start to see the alt season happen, where we start to kind of see dominance usurp from Bitcoin to Ethereum to other major altcoins. We know that today's XRP is sitting at about roughly 2.5% in dominance. We know that XRP has had significantly higher dominance levels, all the way upwards of like 30+%. But today we're going off of 2.5. If XRP remains in this area at 2.5% market dominance, and we start to see the market cap of crypto pushing up 5 to 10 to 25 to 50 to possibly even $100 trillion, what could be the value of XRP? Well, that's what we are going to be addressing in this video. And as we look at the $100 trillion asset class market cap potential, it really is a level that I find very interesting. A lot of people were talking about how crypto could essentially become a $100 trillion asset class. M13, which is a company that has been talking about crypto for a very long time, they actually look into how disruptive this asset class is becoming. They've actually put out a report called Crypto and the Consumer, The Road Ahead, back in 2021. Now, again, beyond that, listen, is crypto going to blossom into a $100 trillion asset class? We don't know. But if you're talking about tokenization and the evolution of finance itself and how DLT and blockchain and this space is really kind of talked about from major players like the BIS and the World Economic Forum and IMF and the World Bank and all these central bankers, like, you kind of have to think about, like, could crypto really be worth $100 trillion? To me personally, I think that that is on the low end, especially when we are talking about how much money could very well be tokenized. Now, obviously, not all of this is going to be on chain, and not all of this is going to result in the value of crypto being worth X amount of dollars, but I do think that this could significantly push crypto to the point where it could be very well worth $100 trillion plus in market cap. And this is the overall report of Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3, which is in this report from M13, where they do talk about if we do follow the same exact pattern growth-wise, we could very well be worth over $140 trillion. But, you know, for the sake of this video, I'm actually going off of just $100 trillion in market cap. But beyond this, right, we know that they say, when comparing Web 2 to Web 3 and Web 1 to Web 2, and the overall growth here, you know, if we do follow through, like, this could be a big thing. And one of the biggest things that I look at with the value behind Web 3 is how easier is it making things? How more efficient is it making things? And we already know that crypto has done a very good job at making things a lot more efficient. We already know that the traditional world of finance has failed, and it has been failing forever. So as we welcome in this new world of finance and we welcome in this new world of technology, what could you really kind of put value-wise on that? Nobody really knows. All we know is that today's market is worth roughly $1 trillion. And when we look at the growth, right, I always go back in time and I look at the growth. Obviously, diminished gains are a reality. And if we just follow through on the gains from roughly 2018 to where we were at just recently in 2021, this was about roughly a 3,000, almost 200% gain. That's ultimately our gain from our all-time high back in 2021 to $100 trillion. Now, $100 trillion is not going to happen in the next couple years. It's going to be a long way away. And the reason why I say this is, like, look at the stock market, right? Here's the stock market from 1996 all the way up until 2012. This was right under $20 trillion back in 1996. And in 2012, it hit about roughly $63.4 trillion. So this is over roughly a 16-year time period. That is significant. And the reason why I mention that is because, like, listen, we're not going to $100 trillion overnight. We're not going to $100 trillion next cycle. And we're not going to $100 trillion in the next 2, 3, maybe even 4 cycles. But I do think that over time, we could very well see $100 trillion realized a lot sooner than most people anticipate. And listen, like, that's me saying, you know, yeah, it took the stock market this long to get to $109 trillion. But could crypto move faster than the stock market simply because of the technology and how fast it could be adopted? It very well could be, right? Meaning we could hit $100 trillion maybe by, you know, let's say 2030, 2035. It could move faster than we think. But again, I think that we need to be realistic here. And the reason why I bring up this $100 trillion market cap is because that's what we are going off of. If XRP retained its position at 2.5% dominance, and say for so, this space just grew value wise, and XRP retained its position and Bitcoin retained its position, and we didn't see much change in terms of the ranking system, XRP would be very well worth about $46.95 going off of today's circulating supply. And this would be a 93x valued at $2.5 trillion in market cap. XRP going off of the total supply would be valued at roughly $25, an upside of 49x valued at $2.5 trillion. Now, let me put this into perspective. Does this mean that XRP is going to be worth $25 and, $47? No, but this is just a hypothetical scenario where XRP could be valued at these levels if it retained its position, if it held the 2.5% dominance in this market, and if crypto did hit $100 trillion in market cap. Now, of course, XRP could move a lot faster. XRP could become, more valuable in a lot shorter amount of time. But I'm just saying, going off of these valuations, going off of what we know and what we have in front of us in terms of dominance levels, in terms of the predictions around, crypto potentially being worth $100 trillion. And this is at scale, by the way. So when crypto is fully adopted, which I would argue that we still have a long way until that actually happens. Citibank actually mentioned that it could take very well 8 years until we see mass adoption. But again, it could take longer, right? Which is why I say, don't have your eyes set on just one target. Make sure that you are taking profits on the way up. Don't have, this target in mind where you're going to start actually selling XRP. I would honestly take profits on XRP at the all-time high, and also leading up to possibly like $10. But again, that's my opinion. It's not financial advice. But beyond that, do I think that XRP is going to be significantly valuable in the future? 100%. Do I think that's going to hit $25 on this next run up? No, I do not. Do I think that XRP could hit $25, within the next, we'll say 7 years? Yes, I do. I think that XRP could move faster than what most people perceive, just like this entire space, because again, technology, it moves extremely fast, and advancements around technology also happens very, very fast. So we don't know what the value of crypto is going to be next month, next year, 5 years down the road. But I would argue that I do think that crypto is going to hit $100 trillion in market cap. I also think that XRP could very well have a lot higher dominance levels. I'm just going off of what we have today in front of us, which is 2.5%. We know that XRP did hold 30% of market dominance at some point in time. And if XRP, flips Ethereum has nearly 20% market dominance today. So imagine that. So again, with that in mind, this is one specific way XRP could be worth anywhere between, $25 to roughly, $45. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.